The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber slid open with a soft hiss. Captain Sarah Chen walked in with confidence, her German Shepherd Max padding silently beside her. Behind them followed the rest of the Earth delegation, 3 military officers and 2 diplomats. The chamber's curved walls towered above them, filled with hundreds of alien representatives from across the galaxy. The Earth delegation may now present their military capabilities, announced High Counselor Zix-427, their crystalline body glowing with a faint blue light. Captain Chen stepped forward, activating her holographic display. Images of Earth's military forces appeared in the air, soldiers training alongside their canine partners. Max sat perfectly still beside her, his alert eyes scanning the room. The first sign of mockery came from the Venture Federation section, a sound like rustling leaves, their version of laughter. Soon, other species joined in. The hive mind of Proxima's representatives buzzed with amusement. The Silicon Collective's members flickered their light patterns in what translated to ridicule. "You bring animals to war?" asked Ambassador Krill of the Centaurian Empire. His 4 eyes blinked in different patterns, showing his disbelief. "We expected plasma weapons, AI battle systems, or at least basic force field technology." "Dogs are more than just animals," Chen explained, keeping her voice steady. "They're our partners. Their senses are beyond what any artificial system can achieve. A dog can detect explosives in parts per trillion, track targets through any terrain, and—" "Primitive," interrupted a representative from the Advanced Worlds Alliance. Their tentacles waved dismissively. "You expect us to believe that organic scent detection could match our quantum scanning arrays?" Max's ears twitched at the loud interruption, but he remained steady. Chen felt a surge of pride. He was proving their point about discipline and training without saying a word. The Military Assessment Committee's leader, General Exor, rose from their hover seat. Their species had evolved from peaceful gatherers on a low-gravity world. Like most council members, they had never known the challenges of Earth's high-gravity, predator-filled environment. "The committee has reviewed Earth's application for the Galactic Defense Force," Exor announced. "While we acknowledge your species' determination, your reliance on biological warfare elements is concerning. These dogs you speak of are clearly weaponized animals. Such primitive tactics have no place in modern galactic warfare." More laughter filled the chamber. Some species didn't even try to hide their contempt. A few younger representatives were taking video recordings, probably to share as entertainment later. Chen felt Max press slightly against her leg, a subtle gesture of support they had perfected over years of partnership. She looked down, meeting his intelligent brown eyes. They shared a small smile, both knowing something the Council didn't. Earth's primitive tactics had survived millions of years of evolution for a reason. "The committee's decision is final," Exor continued. "Earth's application is denied. We suggest focusing on developing proper technological warfare capabilities before reapplying." As Chen and her team left the chamber, she heard the gathered species still laughing and joking. Some were even mimicking dog sounds, getting them completely wrong. Only the ancient Arcturus observer, sitting quietly in their corner, seemed thoughtful rather than amused. "They'll learn," Chen whispered to Max as they walked out. "Sooner or later, something will come that their technology can't handle. And when that happens—" Max's tail wagged slightly, and Chen smiled. Sometimes, the oldest solutions were the best ones, even if the galaxy wasn't ready to admit it yet. Until then, Earth would keep training, keep preparing, and keep strengthening the bond between human and dog that had begun around prehistoric campfires so long ago. 3 months after Earth's rejection from the Galactic Defense Force, the emergency alarms in the council chamber wouldn't stop ringing. The massive screen showed colony after colony going dark. High Counselor Zix-427's crystalline form pulsed with worried red light as they watched another distress signal fade to static. "What are we dealing with?" demanded Ambassador Krill, all 4 of his eyes fixed on the tactical display. General Xor's hover seat wobbled as they rushed to the central platform. Our scanners detected them too late. They're called the Swarm, silicon-based life forms that move through solid rock like it's water. Our energy weapons pass right through them. On the main screen, dark shapes flowed through the ground like living shadows. They weren't quite solid, weren't quite liquid, but something in between. The Council's finest weapons, plasma cannons, quantum disruptors, and gravity bombs, did nothing to stop them. "The Arcturus mining colony is gone," reported a junior officer, their tentacles trembling. 3 million civilians just vanished. The Swarm didn't leave bodies behind. They simply absorbed everything in their path. Organic, mechanical, everything. Only the buildings remained, empty shells standing as silent warnings. Ambassador Krill slammed his appendage on the table. "Where are our mighty quantum scanning arrays now? The Swarm doesn't even show up on them." "They're learning," General Xor admitted, their voice shaking. "Each time we try a new weapon or defense, they adapt within hours. It's like they're studying us while we study them." A quiet voice spoke from the corner of the chamber. It was the Arcturus observer, the same one who hadn't laughed at Earth's presentation months ago. "Perhaps," they said slowly, "we need something they can't study, something they've never encountered before." The chamber fell silent. Everyone knew what the observer meant. "You can't be serious," General Xor protested. "Those primitives with their biological warfare. They're dogs." The observer's ancient eyes studied the tactical display. The Swarm adapts to technology because they understand it. They're silicon-based. They think like living computers. But what about something totally organic? Something that evolved on a high-gravity Deathworld. Something they've never seen before. More colonies went dark on the display. The Swarm was getting closer to the core worlds. "Earth's animals," the observer continued, "detect things through methods we barely understand. They don't use technology. They use senses developed over millions of years of evolution. Senses the Swarm might not even know exist." High Counselor 6427's color shifted to a decisive purple. "Contact Earth immediately. Tell them." They paused, their pride warring with desperation. "Tell them we need their help." The message was sent, marked with the highest priority. Minutes later, Earth responded. The same hologram appeared in the chamber, Captain Sarah Chen, with Max the German Shepherd by her side. But this time, no one laughed. "We've been monitoring the situation," Chen said calmly. "Our forces are ready to deploy. We have teams specialized in search and rescue, combat operations, and threat detection, all with their canine partners." "How soon can you be here?" asked Zix 427. Chen smiled, and Max's tail wagged slightly. "We've been ready since the day you rejected us. The first transport ships launch in 1 hour. After all," she added, looking down at Max, "Earth protects its own. And now, whether you like it or not, you're all part of that." As the hologram faded, the council members looked at each other nervously. They had mocked Earth's primitive ways just months ago. Now those same primitive ways might be their only hope for survival. The Earth transport ships landed on Proxima Colony under heavy guard. General Xor watched through reinforced windows as humans emerged with their canine partners. Each team moved with perfect coordination. Small Belgian Malinois with their agile handlers, sturdy German shepherds padding beside alert soldiers, and massive Rottweilers scanning the area with intense focus. "Fascinating," muttered the Arcturus observer, watching a border collie work with its handler to set up what humans called a detection grid. "Their bodies move like one unit." Captain Chen approached with Max, her German shepherd's nose already twitching as he analyzed the alien air. "The Swarm was here recently," she said, watching Max's behavior. "Within the last 6 hours." General Xor's hover seat drifted closer. "Impossible. Our quantum scanners show no trace-off." A sharp bark cut through the air. Everyone turned to see a young Belgian Malinois named Zip standing rigid, her nose pointed at a solid metal wall. Her handler, Lieutenant Rodriguez, immediately called it in. "All units, possible swarm contact," Rodriguez reported. "Zip's got something." Other dogs in the area began reacting, confirming the detection. The Council's military observers watched in amazement as the dogs tracked something moving through solid metal and rock, something their most advanced sensors couldn't detect. "How are they doing this?" demanded Ambassador Krill. "Dogs can detect scent particles in concentrations as low as parts per trillion," Chen explained, watching Max coordinate with Zip to triangulate the swarm's position. "Their brains process smells in ways our best computers can't match, and since they evolved on Earth, their neural patterns are completely foreign to the swarm." As if proving her point, a dark mass of silicon-based creatures suddenly burst from the wall. The swarm, used to dealing with technological defenses, tried their usual tactic of electromagnetic disruption. But the dogs, operating on instinct and training rather than technology, weren't affected at all. Max took point, leading a group of German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois in a complex herding pattern. The dogs moved like wolves on a hunt, cutting off escape routes and forcing the swarm into a tight cluster. Their humans provided support, using specially designed weapons based on the dog's initial intelligence. "They're herding them," exclaimed the observer, "just like their ancestors herded prey." The swarm, confused by the unfamiliar tactics, tried to retreat into the ground. But a team of bloodhounds had already tracked their tunnel network, and combat engineers had collapsed the major exits. For the first time since they appeared, the swarm was trapped. "Now," shouted Chen. The human teams activated new weapons, sonic pulses calibrated to frequencies the dogs had helped identify. The trapped swarm cluster shattered like broken glass. Later, in the command center, General Exor watched recordings of the battle with new respect. Different breeds performed different roles. Bloodhounds tracking swarm movements through solid matter, border collies coordinating complex multi-team operations, and even huge St. Bernards helping clear rubble to rescue trapped civilians. "We were wrong about you," Exor admitted to Chen. "We thought bringing animals to war was primitive, but this is beyond anything we imagined." Chen smiled as she watched Max help train some of the alien soldiers in basic canine coordination. "Dogs have been humanity's partners for over 30,000 years, she said. "They've evolved alongside us, learned to read our emotions, and chosen to fight beside us. That's not primitive. That's one of the most advanced partnerships in the galaxy." In the training yard, an alien soldier tentatively offered a treat to a friendly Labrador, taking the first steps in learning what humanity had known for millennia. Sometimes the strongest weapons aren't weapons at all, but friends. 3 weeks into the Earth deployment, the Galactic Council's war room was buzzing with activity. The giant screen showed green dots spreading across the star map, each one representing a colony reclaimed from the swarm. But the most interesting scenes came from the ground-level cameras. On New Saturn, a team of golden retrievers worked search and rescue operations. Their keen noses found survivors buried under 20 meters of rubble, people the Council's scanners had declared dead. The aliens watched in amazement as the dogs dug tirelessly, tails wagging when they pulled another survivor to safety. "Their success rate is incredible," Ambassador Krill said, watching a German shepherd named Rex lead his handler through a collapsed building. "How do they stay so focused?" Captain Chen smiled as Max lay alert at her feet. "For them, it's not just a mission. It's a game they love to play. Each rescue is a victory, and they live for those moments." On another screen, Belgian Malinois teams cleared a swarm nest on Alpha Centauri's third moon. The dogs moved like shadows through dark tunnels, their unusual brainwave patterns making them invisible to the swarm's detection abilities. When they found swarm clusters, they didn't attack. Instead, they herded them toward prepared trap zones, just like their ancestors once herded sheep. "Remarkable," muttered General Exor. "The swarm can't predict them, because they don't think like machines. They think well, like dogs. But it wasn't just the military dogs making a difference. In the recovery zones, therapy dogs worked their own kind of magic. A huge Saint Bernard named Bruno sat patiently, while alien children touched his soft fur for the first time. A gentle Labrador named Luna helped traumatized survivors feel safe again. Even the Council's hardened military veterans found themselves relaxing around the calm presence of these four-legged emotional experts. "I don't understand," said a Silicon Collective representative, watching a husky team track swarm movements through a snowstorm. "Our best technology failed, but these simple creatures are winning." "They're far from simple," Chen replied, scratching Max behind the ears. "Dogs have 40 times more scent receptors than humans. They can hear frequencies we can't even detect. But their real power isn't in their senses. It's in their hearts. They fight not because they have to, but because they want to protect their human partners." The proof of her words played out on the Galactic Council chamber looked very different from the day Earth's delegation first arrived. Gone were the mocking laughs and dismissive glances. Instead, the walls were decorated with images of human canine teams in action. A large memorial listed the names of both human and canine heroes who had helped defeat the swarm. Captain Chen stood at the center platform, Max sitting proudly beside her. Behind them, rows of human handlers and their dogs waited at perfect attention. Even the most critical council members couldn't help but admire their discipline. High Counselor Six-427's crystalline form glowed with warm golden light as they spoke. "6 months ago, we rejected Earth's application to join the Galactic Defense Force. Today, we correct that mistake." The chamber's main screen showed highlights from the war. Belgian Malinois leading evacuations through swarm-infested territories, German shepherds protecting civilian shelters, bloodhounds tracking swarm movements through solid rock, and therapy dogs helping survivors recover from trauma. Earth's forces achieved in months what our advanced armies couldn't do in years, continued Six-427. But more importantly, they taught us something we had forgotten. That true strength comes from working together, not just advancing technology. Ambassador Krill, who had once mocked the idea of dogs in warfare, stood up. All 4 of his eyes showed respect as he addressed the chamber. "We hereby create a new designation within the Galactic Defense Force, Symbiotic Warfare Specialists. Earth will lead this division, teaching others the art of working with animal partners." General Xor's hover seat moved forward. The usually proud general now spoke with humility. Already, 17 worlds have requested training in Earth's K9 programs. They want to learn not just about military applications, but about search and rescue, therapy work, and building bonds with other species. Chen smiled as she watched several alien representatives tentatively petting a friendly golden retriever named Sunshine. Just months ago, they had called dogs primitive weapons. Now they were learning the joy of giving belly rubs and throwing tennis balls. "The swarm taught us the limits of technology," the Arcturus observer noted, gently offering a treat to Max. "But humans and their dogs taught us that some bonds are stronger than any weapon we could build." The chamber erupted in applause, not the mocking laughter of before, but genuine appreciation. Chen looked down at Max, remembering their first day here. "We did it, boy," she whispered. Max's tail wagged gently, his mission-focused demeanor softening for just a moment. After the ceremony, in the council's main garden, something unprecedented happened. Alien children played fetch with Earth dogs while their parents watched in amazement. Battle-hardened warriors learned the simple joy of dog kisses. Even the Silicon Collective members, who had once called dogs simple creatures, were studying the complex ways dogs communicated through body language. "What's next?" General Ktor asked Chen, watching a young Labrador teaching an alien child how to play tug-of-war. Chen smiled as Max helped a nervous alien ambassador overcome their fear of dogs. "We start training the galaxy's first interspecies canine units. Dogs have so much more to teach us, about loyalty, about courage, and about the power of friendship." As the sun set on the council world, humans and aliens gathered together. sharing stories of the war. But the real center of attention was the dogs, Earth's greatest ambassadors, proving that sometimes the simplest solutions were the most powerful. In the end, humanity's best friends had become the galaxy's best hope, one paw print and one tail wag at a time.